going to be out, I think, the spring. They got the DLC from Arcade coming out in the spring. They have, I mean, I'm forgetting all these release dates right now, actually, of what's coming out when and where, but, they have, Zelda coming out, they say, in 2015, they have all these other games, and maybe I think these deadlines is possibly what's causing a lot of this thing, because now it's like, we gotta get this done, we gotta get this done.
Yeah, right. It puts a lot of pressure on the developers, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to get the
I know.
titles done.
I don't always. I mean, I can.
But that pressure, I think, is what creates the fucking crappy games. I mean, it creates the glitches, it creates all the things that the fucking bugs, that the things that we experience that we hate in these games that we're fucking like jumping down Ubisoft's throat for. This is something that like other developers have felt. It's something that developers feel all the time. It's actually something that we've dealt with over the years for many, many moons, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't really blame. I mean, in all honesty, I feel like Nintendo brings that approach to it, though. Yeah, and I think you're very correct on that. I think that they kind of bring that. It's going to be done when it's done. And like I was saying, like Carmack does that, like ID Software. It's like they never really release a date until they're very sure that the game is done. I mean, they're not going to release a date until they feel that the game is like of the highest quality, at least of the highest quality enough to where it's going to be released commercially. That's something probably Ubisoft didn't do here, and it's probably something they were pressured into doing. It's probably something that a lot of these teams are pressured into doing. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that probably happens almost every day inside the gaming industry. I mean, we as gamers don't see this kind of stuff. We don't speculate about it.
A fraction of what, would probably
it probably happens like hand over fist. I mean, this is something probably like an accepted kind of a policy from publishers versus developers in terms of like what they expect. I mean, when they go into making a game for a big publisher like say Activision or EA, they're probably already getting into it knowing that they're going to have this like serious deadline, and no matter whether or not the game is finished, they're going to have to fucking release it. And that at this point in the game, in terms of like the game industry, we've already become very accepting of later patches, fixes, updates, things that fix bugs. We pretty much become dull to the idea of fucking these developers releasing games that are going to be unfinished. It's something that I think like everyone expects, and I think that it only becomes like a point of contention. Like, I think Unity eventually, like, not eventually, I think it's selling well now. In all honesty, I think it's probably going to be one of the best selling games of the holiday season, regardless of the kind of bugs that it has. I just think that gamers like to focus in on these points, especially gaming publications and websites and magazines, because it's just an easy target. It's just like, a lot of people who fucking target these kind of developers with this kind of bullshit don't understand the kind of, like, dedication and work it takes to actually put together an actual fucking 3D game or 2D game or a video game in general. I feel like a lot of people bitch about this kind of stuff not really knowing what they're bitching about. Like, they don't even really understand what they're bitching about. They're bitching about all these glitches, but they don't understand, like, that some guy's probably sweated behind a cubicle for less money than he's worth. Busting his ass trying to finish the fucking game before it came out, like, and to hear, like, somebody, that must be really discouraging to be, like, a developer and hear these kind of comments about your game.
And, we probably don't do necessarily probably a service, by, always talking about it.
I think gamers are just like every other kind of consumer. We're all just very...
I think exactly. I think we're just like any other consumer, too,
we want what we want.
In the end, Unity will probably eventually be stable enough that people can actually play the game.
Well, they just came out with a patch that was supposed to fix a lot of this stuff. I'm not exactly sure if it did, but it came out like yesterday or today.
The wonder is, why couldn't they? I mean, and this is another thing, I was going to bring up. Miyamoto had a very good quote that came out that he said. I don't know, it was a few years ago now, I think, but basically he was saying that, I'm paraphrasing it, but a game that is rushed, that it will, or like a game that is rushed will always be bad or something like that. But a delayed game will eventually be good.
Right, eventually.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of those eventually. Well, how long is eventually? Well, it could be 1 month to 10 years or something like that.
Right, and I like that about Nintendo, though. I like that they're willing to put that kind of time
And I think that's why I
money
don't
into a
normally
title.
complain about when they delay their games, because I think when they delay their game, they usually have a reason for it. Sometimes, I mean, I
Dude,
can
all the
understand
way
this
back
point,
to N64,
I think the reason
right?
yeah, for what?
Like all the way back to N64, they've been doing this kind of this I don't know, this campaign to make people believe that it's like quality over quantity. Like this is the this is the kind of thing that they've been doing like since the beginning almost. Like since they've basically been making 3D games, they've been telling people like it's gonna take as long as it can take. I mean, we waited 4 years for fucking Ocarina of Time, dude. This is not something that's like new. It's like Nintendo's been doing this for a really long time.
Yeah, and I think from when you think about even like a game like Zelda, we saw footage. Yes, it was cutscene footage, but they said it was all gameplay footage. But anyway, we saw gameplay footage. Now they say that it's going to be coming out next year, which is of course not far off. We don't know when next year. People are seeing it probably towards the holiday season and whatnot. But I've come to grips, or I've come to just accept that Nintendo will eventually delay games. But one of the things I was going to say is, sometimes I wonder why the reason Nintendo delay some of the games that they do is to. We were talking about this earlier about trickling down. Like we were trickling down our articles for the forums. Well, maybe that's exactly what Nintendo was. They want to trickle down their games so they don't have one big lump sum of games. They want to kind of space them out, and perhaps that's why they probably do what they do for their
I
console.
think there's going to be a huge push with the next console. I think that this is kind of like one of those droughts that we see every other Nintendo gen. I mean, we saw this with N64, but we really didn't see it that much with the GameCube. Nintendo released a lot of first-party titles on the GameCube.
Oh yeah.
It was one of those things with the Wii U as well. I mean, we saw a trickle of first-party Nintendo titles coming from Nintendo themselves, but we saw like a flood of third-party titles. With the Wii U, it's very much the same thing, except we don't have the third-party shovelware to fill in the gaps. Nintendo's still doing the same thing that they did last gen. I mean, they're doing the same thing they do almost every gen. They're filling, the small space that they have within a year with what quality titles they have finished. Nintendo's not really about releasing games that are unfinished, dude. And that's one thing you could say about Nintendo is that you never really get a game from them that needs to be patched to the point where it changes the gameplay aspects of it, where it's almost like completely separate from the original release. Something that you're probably going to see within Unity. Like, it's going to be like a complete change. People are probably going to enjoy it a lot more once it gets patched up. But in terms of Nintendo games, what you see is what you get. What you get at release is what you get. Like, that is it. Nintendo doesn't release games that are half-finished or that need patches. I mean, the only time that Nintendo releases these kind of patches is for, like, online features or for smaller, like, other nuances,
which
like
people
getting disconnected. Right, which would make more sense. I mean, but we're talking about, like, the main actual content of the single-player, portion of the game or the actual gameplay of the game. I mean, Nintendo doesn't fuck that up, man. That's something that they deliver in spades. At the highest of quality, and even at the lowest of technology, I mean, that's something that Nintendo, it comes back around. Nintendo really does the most with what they have. Like, they do the most with less than any developer out there, in my opinion. You're getting more quality out of Nintendo titles than you're getting out of any title out there, simply because you're getting something that's comparable to what you're getting on, like, say, I don't know, like a PS4 or an Xbone in terms of the experience that you're receiving. I mean, Bayonetta 2 is fucking qualified for Game of the Year. There's no doubt in my mind that this game is worthy of this, Hey, before I fucking forget, man, speaking of which, these fucking guys sent me a free copy of Bayonetta 2. I just wanted to post, check this out, dude.
I was going to bring it up.
This is for real. These fools sent this to me, sent me this note. Like, Mike D sent me this note. Let me see if I can hold it up. It's like all folded up and shit. But he sent me this note. You know what I'm saying? A free copy. They got together and decided I needed a free copy of Bayonetta 2 with Bayonetta 1. When Mike was sending me the copy of Anguish, I honestly can't say just thanks enough, guys. I just wanted to mention you guys because, in all honesty, I've never received a gift like this before, like, as far as a surprise. You guys like made my day. Like that's real, guys. Thank you so much for fucking giving me the Bayonetta 2. I just wanted to say that. Is there
and we were glad to kind of help you out with that. So,
dude, you did it too? You mean you had something to do with this?
Oh yeah.
Oh, come on, Sholdy, for real? I didn't know that. I thought, as far as I knew, it was like Matt, Juke, and I didn't really hear about anybody else. He just told me other forum members. Did you really have something to do with this, dude?
Yeah, I did. Well, I mean, let's put it this way. Juke basically, I mean, well, it's now over and stuff like that. So basically, Juke and basically got a group of us together. And we all basically just had a bit of a conversation about it. We wanted to kind of help you out. So, and we all wanted to we just wanted to kind of give back is what we wanted to do. So,
wow. Give back for what though? I don't do shit for you guys except annoy.
You do plenty for us. I mean, you don't even realize. I mean, you do back your frickin' Spider-Man posts and stuff like that. I mean, you provide. I mean, this is why I like Nintendo Enthusiasts, because we take care of our own. We take care of our own.
I never knew who was involved in this, but now knowing that you're involved, it's very special, man. I just want you to know that, I appreciate it, everything that you guys felt fucking thinking about doing that for me. I felt when I got it, it was really one of the coolest things that's happened to me this entire year. I just wanted you to know that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I very much appreciate it, dude. Thank you.
Yeah, it was Juke, Matt, hang on a sec.
Who else? I gotta know. Now I know Shoulder. Now who else is involved? I know Mike was involved because, he obviously sent it to me.
Yeah, Mike was there. Let's see, Good Twin, Juke, Buddha,
what?
Mike, and
what?
myself.
What? All of them? Come on, man. You're gonna make me cry, dude. For real? They all were involved in doing this for me?
And even for all the other guys, all the other regulars who, did not, it was just kind of hey, let's just do this. But, that was who it was, and yeah, and, for other guys who, in this little conversation, if I wasn't supposed to say any of that, well, I'm sorry, but, hey, I figured, we should give credit where it's due,
Whatever, man. Credit where it's due is just an understatement as far as I'm concerned. It really made my whole year, man. That was one of the coolest things anybody's ever done for me.
Well,
I can't believe that all of you guys were involved. I honestly never would have guessed that so many people were involved in trying to get this to me. I thought it was just maybe Matt or Juke or maybe a couple of guys, maybe a few guys, maybe 4 at the most. I never would have thought it was Good Twin and stuff like that. I never really, Good Twin doesn't really let me know how much he appreciates me. If he does appreciate me at all, I never would have guessed Good Twin was in on that, dude. Thank you. I can't even believe that shit, man. That's a trip.
Yeah, I think it was, hang on a sec. Let me see if I can find it.
Just wow. I never would have thought Good Twin was in on that. GT is one of those guys that I totally respect, but I never thought I gained his respect. You know what I'm saying? Some of the guys I know, they're cool with me and stuff, but GT is one of those guys, and I never thought you know what I mean? He thought about me that way. But honestly, he must like me a lot if he thought enough to put in on getting me a free game, dude. That's a huge deal for me. $60 for me, dude, is a huge amount of money. You don't understand. I don't get the 60 bones and just throw away on a free game and stuff. So for you guys to pitch in, all of you together, to do that. I mean, even if you were just in on thinking that was a good idea, that means a lot to me, dude. I'm sorry. That's fucking awesome.
I mean, like I said, you've been a big contributor to TNE for especially ever since I've been here. And so, we really enjoyed the stuff that you post. We love your Spider-Man stuff. I mean, those things are really good, quite frankly.
That's great to know that you guys appreciate it. Not just appreciate it, but just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's the most important part. If you smile, or if anybody smiles or laughs, or you know what I mean, if their day is heightened in terms of
and
their emotional state.
And then, of course, when we all read your post, we were all just kind of, we all were very big agreement is that was a very epic post that you made, especially when you added